it get to this height now?
Is it still too high?
Too high. It's too high.
Okay.
Zoom out so you can control your camera. Zoom out this way.
Yeah. Okay, zooming out. Okay.
Take it closer. Take it closer. Take it closer.
It's still too high.
Watch the overlay. Watch the text overlay. Yeah. Take it closer.
Stop. I think it's okay. It's okay. Stop.
What's wrong with it?
We need someone to understand this thing. Are you zooming in?
No. I'm just trying to
zoom in and zoom out for you to know.
I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay with this. Main camera, I'm not okay with this. Try and target this stage, the podium. Then shoot the overlay the hair. You know how to target it. So that the text overlay will not cover the speaker.
What I'm trying to say, when you are using the screen, you be looking at that right up. You should not cover, see something like that. See, cover, it's supposed to be something like this. So that the overlay will not cover what is happening there. The overlay is that thing that is written there. That thing written there. So in case you are writing, so you are turning here, so the overlay does not cover the what do you call this thing? That platform. Let me ask him if it's okay now. Mr. Bello, are you okay with it now?
Take breath.
Okay. But the main camera has to face the entrance. So you can see the tool you're watching in.
Affirmative, but they are not set completely yet.
The entrance.
You don't take it.
The camera is okay. No problem. Ready to cut it out.
valedictory lecturer. Also on the Vice Chancellor's procession, we have directors of academic programs, directors of institutes, deans of faculty, the dean of PG school, the dean of students, the provost, the valedictory lecturer, principal officers of the university, and the Vice Chancellor. The Vice Chancellor's procession. Vice Chancellor's procession, please. The procession is led in by the Deputy Registrar Senate Matters, Mrs. Comfort Egbhodaghe. Entering now, we have directors of institutes, directors of academic programs, deans, the dean of students, the dean of postgraduate studies, the provost, principal officers of the university, and the Vice Chancellor, the Vice Chancellor's procession. The national anthem, followed by the Union anthem. Uniben, please sit. Our transformational and phenomenal Vice Chancellor. Please put your hands together for the #1 Vice Chancellor. The very distinguished Professor Lillian Imwetinya Salami. Put your hands together again, ladies and former Vice Chancellors of our great institution, heads of other institutions of our university, the provost, deans, directors, the valedictory lecturer and family, professors, esteemed professors and erudite scholars, robed colleagues and mentees of the valedictory lecturer, top government functionaries, Royal Highnesses, greatest Uniben staff and students, invited guests, from friends from far and near, ladies and gentlemen. A few security tips. Should there be a reason to vacate this hall in an emergency, please note, as security experts have advised, that we should not go out in a stampede, but that we should move out on either side into the open spaces of the auditorium. Also, the conveniences attached to this facility are located and could be accessed building as you step out. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I have an uncommon excitement today, and that is because, figuratively speaking, the big masquerade comes on stage today. Please put your hands together. Therefore, we will this quintessential 12th valedictory lecture of the University of Benin. The lecture is to be delivered by a global champion of women's health, an internationally acclaimed academic and topmost Scopus and Google quoted scholar, the center leader of the Uniben Center of Excellence in Reproductive Health Innovation, SERI, and director, World Bank Projects, a professor of Obstetrics, Gynaecology, and Reproductive Health, one of our finest, one of our best, Professor Friday Egbhodaghe Okonofua. The topic for this valedictory lecture is "You Get What You Ask" in university fundraising. May I now? Yes, clap. Thank you very much. May I now respectfully invite the registrar of our university, Mr. Ademola Bobola, to introduce our dynamic Vice Chancellor and the Vice Chancellor's procession. Mr. Registrar.
Madam Vice Chancellor, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, kindly allow me to abide by the protocol as already established by the University's PR, Dr. Benedicta Henry. It is my singular honor and a rare privilege today to present before this assembly as a part the #1 Vice Chancellor in the whole Nigerian space. That's 272 universities in the whole of Nigeria, and the #1 among them. A former Director General of a National Institute, and prolific writer, and the 10th substantive Vice Chancellor of this university, and of of course, the first female of Benin extraction to be a Vice Chancellor. I can talk about her, but this is a very rare occasion where you have twins, one a male, female. Both of them are celebrating today. So please allow me to do that for the female very well. Very soon, the male, we already know very much about it.
Is he all right?
The Vice President, Association of African Universities, so is our own Vice Chancellor. Professor Lillian Imwechi Salami, our own dear Vice Chancellor. Please let me also present to us today the Deputy Vice Chancellor Administration and a very distinguished medical expert too. To our lecturer today, Professor Mrs. Catherine Bowen, Deputy Vice Chancellor Administration. The Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic is distinguished fellow of Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, Professor Ray Ozora. The Deputy Vice Chancellor, Egbhodaghe Campus, and the distinguished Professor of Pharmacology, Professor the Constitution and Publications, Walter Megisi, we have another host today. We have different hosts today because the lecturer today is a man of many parts. And the first host I want to introduce today and present before us is the of a very reputable College of Medical Sciences that has produced a very big colossus in the mode of Professor Okonofua. Professor Wilson Sado, the Provost, College of Medical Sciences. The Acting Dean School of Postgraduate Studies, Engineer, Professor S.A. Aliu. The #1 citizen on campus, a professor of economics, Professor A.C. Egbhodaghe is the Dean Student Affairs. Another host today, and who is a very distinguished professor of medicine, Dean School of Medicine, Professor Wilson Osarogade, Faculty of Agriculture, former DVC academic of this university, Professor David Zeko. The Dean Faculty of Arts, Yuka. And of course, the brand new dean is a potent dean, for that matter. Is the newest of our structure coming up in the College of Medical Sciences. That is the School of Basic Clinical Sciences. The potent dean, Professor V.J. Egbhodaghe. The Dean School of Basic Medical Sciences, Professor F.O. Agure. The Dean School, Professor F.O. Amorege. And of course, a very distinguished dean this time around, from where we have produced our own very remarkable and highly dynamic vice. The Dean Faculty, Professor Kingsley Omorogua. The Dean Faculty of Engineering, Professor E.A. Ogunjo. Representing the Dean Faculty of Environmental Sciences, Dr. Jeff Ewodo. And of course, the Dean of our also very reputable Faculty of Law, the faculty that SAN, SAN, all over the country and blazing the trail everywhere. Professor I.O. Omori, Dean Faculty of Law. The Dean of Life, this time around, Dean of Life Sciences, and you can't miss him in the crowd. Professor Jerry Oroy, Dean Faculty of Life Sciences. The Dean Faculty of Physical Sciences, this time around, people may not laugh so much, have mastered the name to some extent. Professor E.O. Ayomi. We're with us today in the Vice Chancellor Center, a Daniel, but this time around, the Dean Faculty of Social Sciences, Professor Daniel Tongwe. Professor Hassan Oyahela is the Director, Center of Educational Technology. Professor A.E. Owebu, the Director of IPTTO Office. The Director, Telephone Center of Excellence for Aquaculture and Food Technology, Professor Mrs. Ishoma Ogo. The Director, Center for Sustainable Development Goals, SDG, Professor Mrs. U. Egbhodaghe. The Director, University Advancement and Development Office, Professor Egbhodaghe. Director, Engineering Center, ADEC, Professor Mrs. P.E. Orogwe. The Director, Center for Research and Development, M.A. Babikoli. The Director, External Linkages and Internationalization, Professor F. Enad. Vice Chancellor, Director, Student Guidance and Counseling Unit of this university, Professor Mrs. O.N. Ahier. And of course, we have the Director General Studies, Professor Etiosa Igbinosa. The Director, Institute of Education, right there in our Ekewa campus, Professor, well, I always say professor, the professor is still awaiting confirmation of the Vice Chancellor and the authorities of the university. Dr. She's very much there. I'm sure the camera will pick her out. Also from Ekewa campus is the Director, Institute of Public Administration and Health Science Management, Dr. E.O. Ogato. Leading the Vice Chancellor Central today is Mrs. C.I. Egbhodaghe, the Deputy Registrar in charge of Senate matters. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today is a celebration of two persons, and is only one of the persons that can really talk about the other one. Those of us from Ondo State, and I'm sure Professor Fatisi will remember this, we have two of them in the West. One was the University of Medical Sciences as a pioneer Vice Chancellor, and the other one in Nepal. Each time you want to see one, you have to see the other one. There were two sides of the same coin. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and privilege to call on the Vice Chancellor to present an address of the inaugural.
Distinguished distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and I look at this side of the auditorium. They are all retirees. So I greet you specially, the retirees from. There's some few people who are sitting there, and I'm going to call you out if you are not retired. But for everyone here, so I wish you well, and you are all looking wonderful, handsome, and beautiful. So for those of you who are sitting there, we will soon join you. I have just a couple years to join you too. So thank you very much. I greet my own dear brother, the Vice Chancellor, the University, Medical University Ondo. By extension, you all know that I'm a daughter of Ondo State, Yeye Meso of Ondo land. So I greet you. Thank you for coming, and my darling brother, Darlington, by name, we thank you for gracing this occasion. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, when you want to introduce this colossus, how do you start? Where do you start? In fact, the first draft I got was about 20-something pages, and I said I might as well convert that to my second inaugural lecture. But having said that, I have tried and tried and tried, and I will still try again to bridge. So, because you can never stop, if you want to introduce this man, to take the whole day. But we have rice and stew very plenty after now, so I think we should begin to salivate while we listen to him talk. And so I'm not going to bore you with just long lecture. So it is a great delight that I welcome you all to the 12th in the valedictory lecture series of the great University of Benin. Today's lecture is the 8th to be delivered in my tenure as the Vice Chancellor of this great institution, and the 3rd from the School of Medicine and 4th from the College of Medical Sciences. As valedictory lectures are invaluable sources of lessons, I once again urge all our retiring professors to avail the university of their experiences so that we can begin to learn lessons. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce our lecturer for today. He is Professor Friday Egbhodaghe Okonofua. The title of the lecture is You Get What You Ask, My Odyssey in University Fundraising. Professor Okonofua was born in April 1954 to the family of Okonofua and Madam Agnes Okonofua in Egbhodaghe, Esan local government area of Edo State. He attended Anglican Grammar School, Ujiale, Ekoma, from 1965 to 69 to obtain the West African Certificate in Division. He attended Anglican Grammar School, Ujiale, Ekoma, from 1965 to 69 to obtain the West African School Certificate in Division 1. In 1970, he proceeded to Edo College University for his higher school certificate. Professor Okonofua gained admission into the University of Ife, now Obafemi Awolowo, where he obtained the Bachelor of Science, Health Sciences, with a second-class upper division in 1975, and the bachelor degree in medicine and surgery in 1978. He was an University of Benin Teaching Hospital from 78 to 79, after which he did his mandatory one-year NYSC in Egbhodaghe, local hospital, district hospital in Ogun State between 79 and 80. Professor Okonofua had his residency training between 1981 and 84 in the Departments of Obstetrics and Gynaecology, Obafemi Awolowo, Ife, where he obtained the fellowship of the West African Postgraduate Medical College and the National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria, both. 1984 and 85, he was a clinical research fellow in clinical endocrinology at the Royal Free Hospital, London. Professor Okonofua started his lecturing career in January 1986 as lecturer 1 in the Department of Obs and Gynae, Obafemi Awolowo Ile-Ife, and rose through the ranks to the position of professor in 1992. I'm sure some of us were still in primary school. He transferred his services to the University of Benin in 1997. Desirous of broadening his academic horizon, he obtained a PhD in International Health and Population Study from an institute in Stockholm, Sweden in 2005. He had held several academic and administrative positions within the university ecosystem. Please permit me, like I said, to preach. Acting head, substantive head, Departments of Obs and Gynae, Obafemi Awolowo. Acting Dean, Faculty of Clinical Sciences, Obafemi Awolowo. Head, Department of Obs and Gynae, University of Benin. Dean, Faculty of School of Medicine, University of Benin. Two-time member, Governing Council, University of Benin. Provost, College of Medical Sciences, University of Benin. Member, Board of Trustees of Dr. Chinyere Anyanze Okoro Foundation Trust Fund, College of Medical Sciences. Chairman, Endowment Committee, University of Benin. Vice Chancellor, University of Medical Sciences, Ondo. Coordinator, World Bank funded project, including the Center of Excellence in Sustainable Procurement, Environmental and Social Standards Enhancement, SPACE, University of Benin till date. Director of Grants and Research Development and Administration, University of Benin till date. Team leader, West African Regional Center of Excellence in Reproductive Health Research and Innovation, CERI, University of Benin, 2014 to date. He has held several administrative positions within the University of Benin Teaching Hospital and Obafemi Awolowo Teaching Hospital. Some of them include consultants, obs and gynecologists, Obafemi Awolowo Teaching Hospital, Chairman, Ethics Committee, University of Benin Teaching Hospital, Member, Governing Board, University of Benin Teaching Hospital. Professor Okonofua is also a member of not less than 40 learned bodies and fellowship. Again, I will not bore you with all of that. This colossus is also a recipient of 58 distinctions and awards from both national and international bodies. Again, let me bridge and just give you a few. University of Ibadan Scholarship for Best Students in the Concessional Entrance Examination, National Award for Best Students in Preliminary Class, Professor Pedersen's Prize for Best Students in Internal Medicine, Professor Sheila Kenny's Prize for Best Students in Anesthesiology, Ogun State Award for Best Youth Copper, First Alumnus Professor of Medicine, awarded by the Medical Alumni Association of Obafemi Awolowo University, Distinguished Alumnus of the Obafemi Awolowo, and there are so many others that I am sure if you want, you can take his CV that runs into hundreds of pages. He has served as external examiner in undergraduate Obs and Gynae to several medical schools within and outside Nigeria. He is also an examiner to the Faculty of Obs and Gynae of the National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria and of West African College of Surgeons. He has examined PhD candidates of universities within and outside Nigeria. Professor Okonofua is a professorial rank assessor to many many universities within and outside Nigeria, including well-respected Harvard University, University of California at Berkeley, and the University of Michigan, all in the United States of America. He has attended several local, national, and international conferences and has successfully supervised 5 PhD and 34 master's theses and 56 fellowship theses. Professor Okonofua is a global scholar with key interest in women's health, a discipline where he has published over 380 journal articles, 4 books, 26 books chapter, and 22 monographs. He has a citation index of over 6,000 and H index of 58. He has won not less than 52 research grants in his academic career. Professor Okonofua has also rendered consultancy services to several national and international organizations, among which are Federal Ministry of Health, World Health Organization, National Agency for Control of AIDS, Ford's Foundation, MacArthur Foundation, Rockefeller Foundation, and David and Lucy Packard Foundation, among others. Professor Okonofua has founded Women Health and Action Research Center, African Journal of Reproductive Health, All Women Empowerment Project, Association of Private Ops Providers, among others. Professor Okonofua has passion for swimming, farming, and football. He is a Christian and he is married to Mrs. Patience. Is blessed with children. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is my singular honor and pleasure to invite this colossus, Professor Egbhodaghe, to deliver his valedictory lecture. Thank you.
Most distinguished and highly respected Vice Chancellor, thank you, Ma, for that wonderful citation. Serving and former Vice Chancellors here present, and bow here and tremble, sir, in the presence of Professor Nokorai, Professor Nao, I can see Professor, my great friend, Professor Honsi, and then serving Vice Chancellor of my university, the great University of Medical Sciences, Professor Odyssey. Thank you very much for coming. Principal officers of the university, the Chief Medical Director of the University of Benin Teaching Institute, Professor Valedictory, my Provost, sir, my Dean, Directors, and other deans here present, members of Senate, senior professors here present, Professor Emerita, thank you very much, sir, for coming. And all retired professors with me here present, thank you very much for coming. And those who are about to retire as well, thank you very much for coming. Our Royal Majesties, Oba Dokwe, and all spiritual my dear colleagues, mentees, and students, great university students, sons and daughters of Okonofua Jail family here present. Thank you all for coming. Family, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. will spend the next 40 minutes thereabout, because the PRO has warned me not to say 40 minutes, to talk about a subject that I've been very dear to my heart, which is fundraising for universities. Let me thank very distinguished Vice Chancellor, Professor Lilian Salami, for giving me this opportunity to deliver this lecture. I first joined the university system in 1986 when I was appointed Chairman in the Department of Obstetrics and Gynaecology at the College of Health Sciences. I rose to the ranks to become professor in 1992. I transferred my services to September 1996, having been appointed professor in the Department of Obstetrics and Gynaecology by the then Vice Chancellor, Professor Okonofua. Thank you very much, sir. The story of my trajectory of how I became a professor, which I think will be a very good lesson for other persons, have been documented somewhere else, and I urge you to the copy of the book. Today, I want to talk about fundraising. I chose the university system rather than other sources because I wanted to be able to conduct research and talk to people with evidence, rather than being in other areas where their choices, their voices will be restricted. Indeed, although I've been in various administrative areas in the university, as VC has said, my passion has always been for research. However, I discovered very early in my career that it was, if you are to do good research, that you have to attract your own funding. When I was HOD, I was basically using my money to fund the department. Because given the large amount of funds available in the international civil that address various challenges in development, I considered appropriate to strategically ask for this fund to support my research. So I also want to remind you, ladies and gentlemen, that one of the key roles of universities is to foster national development through research by producing products and innovations in various areas of need. And given the paucity of funding for research, as we all know, I consider that one of my primary responsibilities in the university system would be to governance the process of fundraising for research and development and to lead from the front. And I'm very grateful to God that I've been doing that. So, if you don't ask, you won't get it. If you are a mother, you are a father, if your child doesn't ask you for something, you won't give the child. So, therefore, my guiding principle is to ask if I require resources to solve a critical problem to research. And indeed, this is in line with Valedictory Johnson. Matthew chapter 21, verse 2, Jesus says, if you believe, you will receive whatever you ask for in prayer. And in John 14, verse 14, the Bible says, if you ask anything in my name, isn't it? I will do it. But if you keep quiet, you don't ask, you won't get it. So my life experience has been that if you have a problem and you don't ask for help, no one will know you have a problem, and so no one will help you. But asking for help, you will get help if you ask for help in the right way. And I'm going to bother ourselves about ask in the right way because I will not know lecture for another day. Therefore, when years in the university system have asked for funds every day, and to 90 days I was still writing to ask for more funds. And to date, you know, even if you refuse me, I'll still come back. So, to date, I've written 200 proposals in my career, but I was successful in only 54. That means that don't be discouraged, continue asking, one day you will get results. Actually, I didn't want to consider this, I didn't want to give, because I thought people might consider it as self-promoting. I'm trying to promote myself, I'm trying to show off. But I think the Vice Chancellor, thank you very much, and the Deputy Vice Chancellor Academics kept drumming to my ears that I need to. So after careful deliberations, I decided to write this memo for two main reasons. One, the story of the Agama, but I was told to me that my principal in those days is in the university system. And then second, the lessons. I think this is said I'm a footballer. I'm not only a footballer, I'm the autocross of football. So, lessons I've learned from Diego Maradona, and why I'm so interested in football, I will tell you today. The story is told by Professor Grillo of Great of the Agama and Gama lizard, who fell from a tall tree without fracturing his bones. The lizard looked right and left and saw many other animals, but none of them acknowledged the feat of the lizard in falling from a high tree and still remaining strong on ground. The lizard therefore nodded his head repeatedly to praise itself. Ladies and gentlemen, in my own case, I feared that what I've done in the university system. A time may come when my achievements may be forgotten. And a time may come when these achievements may be surpassed by other achievements, by other people, and may be poo-pooed as non-achievements. Therefore, I considered it would be better to document my actions in my own words rather than waiting for others to tell the story for me. The second, for those of you who don't know him, was a master dribbler. He would dribble many defenders and score himself. But many times, he will receive a pass from a teammate to score, or he will pass the ball to another teammate to score a goal. Therefore, there were also teammates of Maradona who deliberately made inaccurate passes to him because of envy, just to ensure that he did not score the goals that made him famous. Ladies and gentlemen, in my years in university, I've come to realize that playing football, if you want to succeed, you must be a team player at the great Diego Maradona, and try to work with those that support your vision, but also dribble out those who are waiting to obstruct you. Just allow them to be planning and then dribble them out. That's all. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, this presentation is designed to appreciate those who work with me as a team, passing the ball over to me, and also those who receive my passes to score goals at an intensity that enabled us to achieve our common goal of resource mobilization and fundraising for the university system. I also appreciate those who try to obstruct me. In them, I learned lessons in resilience, courage, determination, diplomacy, and integrity. Which helped to deepen my connection to what I believe in for the university system. Without knowing, these people were the real heroes that made me to discover myself. We are able to work hard to overcome their doubts and their opposition. So the objectives of this presentation are twofold. One is to summarize what I've done in fundraising, and then the second is to give recommendations to others. Now, I wrote what I call a 10-point agenda, and these were the agenda items, and you get a copy. And then we had a lot of donors. I want to particularly appreciate Governor Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, who was then the governor of Bayelsa State, Chief Lucky Binejon, Dr. Emmanuel Egbhodaghe, Barrister Jude Nosaki, parents, even the students, the staff of the colleges themselves who actually donated their salary. I want to appreciate you all. That's how I raise money. And if you look at the book, please buy a copy of the book. And you see I detailed everything there. I don't have time to relate it, but I want to appreciate these people who started me in the process of fundraising in South Benin. Now, what was the rationale? Fundraising. After completing my tenure, my passion for self became more intense. And this was due to the experiences I had gathered by obtaining funds from various centers or agencies in behalf of women's health and national resources. These agencies included the Ford Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation, the Rockefeller Foundation, the Canadian Anti-Terrorism and so forth. I also gained considerable experiences and networking around the world by visiting Harvard University, Okonofua University, the University of Berkeley, the USA, Karolinska Institute in Stockholm, Sweden. At that time, I reasoned that it would be unfair. I think I'm using the word you always use the word unfair. This time I raised it from to raise funds for and not be seen to also raise funds from investors that have supported me in the process. I consider that in future, I will judge harshly if it was determined that I only raised funds for work without similar efforts being made for the university. It was for this reason that I wrote to the Vice Chancellor at that time, Professor A.R. requesting that a piece of land be given to work within the university campus to build a permanent site for work. I argued that I wanted work to be situated within Uniben and be administered by Works Board of Trustees for 30 years, and after which it will be transferred to the University of Benin. And if that had happened, I think 20 years, 30 years will just be a few years away from now. I was that audacious, very audacious. No matter what response, eulogized the idea, but feared that it might not be approved by council of the university. And so I decided to drop the idea. But today I'm here, and so I dropped the idea of joining work to Uniben, but was still determined that work should have a close working relationship with the university. This led to our movement of work secretariat closer to Uniben at Isiho. I must also recall that the then governor of Edo State, Chief Lucky Egbhodaghe, actually gave me a sizable piece of land to build work secretariat on Sapele Road in Benin. But our determination to be close to Uniben made us to jettison that land and opted for a land which we bought closer to the University of Benin. Today, we continue to appreciate the good gesture of Chief Lucky Egbhodaghe. Please give me a round of applause. Therefore, it was not surprising that in my fundraising proposals, which I submitted, work offices and staff played major roles. They played roles in the fact that we used our facilities to develop the proposals, and many of their staff contributed to the development of those proposals. So today we know that successive grant, if you're asking, you must have an idea. Idea is the most important factor, which is then carried out and described to donors and philanthropists. In 2009, I came up with the idea to ensure that the University of Benin becomes a center of excellence in fine and applied arts, given the important role that the Edo culture plays in Nigerian history. I thought a center of excellence in fine and research effort be established. A museum of international reputation would also be established, so that people can order Benin products, really talk to us. Advanced courses will also be established. And then we'll have the University of Benin being very prominent in that area of research. So therefore, I sold the idea to the then, who is still the country director of the Makada Foundation, Dr. Khalif Shatima. He was very excited about what the university and the country could gain from that enterprise. He then asked me to contact the Chancellor of the University of Port Harcourt, who coordinated the MacArthur Foundation's project in southern Nigeria at that time. I actually visited Professor Barata in Port Harcourt, along with Professor Marcel Okaku. We see here today. We went together, and Professor Barata, you are here, thank you very much, sir, who strongly supported the idea. Subsequently, Professor Barata recommended to MacArthur to give the University of Benin a seed grant of $50,000 to the project, so that we can refine the idea. The funds were to be used to provide ICT and library facilities at the Ekawan campus of the university, which would then start the project. At this point, I wrote to the then active Vice Chancellor of the university, Professor Kubenje, requesting him to write to the MacArthur Foundation to accept the seed grant of $50,000, which was a requirement. 2 months after, God wrote to the memo, and with pressure from the MacArthur Foundation, I gave the telephone number of the then chairman of council of the university, Professor Vengada Jibo, to Dr. Khalif Shatima to contact him and ask him for the fund directly. And I was thinking the chairman of council will simply order that the 50,000 naira be given to the university. Dr. Khalif Shatima, who is still alive today, is in Abuja, later reported to me saying that Professor Vendenga Jibo bluntly refused the funds, telling him that the university did not need the grant from the Mercator Foundation. I got that point. So, despite this unfortunate development, I remained undaunted and waited for the next opportunity to actualize my vision of fundraising for the University of Benin. I simply told myself that no one can stop me from demonstrating my skills in fundraising. My strength is that I believe strongly that no one except God can stop me. When I decide on something, if I sleep, my wife can tell me, and I decide on something, nobody can stop me except God. So that's the truth. I do so without looking back, with determination, with vigor, and resilience. If police were saying at that time that I was a exemplary staff, as I still say today, I ask myself, have I ever done anything to them? Why should they say I'm a great man when I've not done anything to say I was a great man? So I said, nobody can stop me from demonstrating what I want to do for this university and to make a contribution. Because if I was to leave university without that contribution, I would have been a fake professor who simply came and taught and did nothing. So, ladies and gentlemen, the opportunity to work on university fundraising came in 2013 when Professor Sayuki Oshoji became Vice Chancellor of the University of Benin. Some may not know that Oshoji had been my friend and personal buddy. Indeed, we worked together and co-applied for the post of assistant. We shared notes, we laughed about teachings, and we actually campaigned together. As VC, they appointed me the chairman of a committee that investigated how economic campus was integrated into the administrative organization of the university. Recommended the appointment of a senior academic who was then designated later DVC academic to manage the affairs of that campus and to report the VC. Today we have a very distinguished Deputy Vice Chancellor of the campus. And it was of note that all recommendations that we made to Professor Oshoji at that time on infrastructural improvements needed to improve the economic campus were fully implemented by the Oshoji administration. Later in 2010, I applied for to work as a policy expert and development officer for Foundation. My work with the Foundation not only gave me the opportunity to make grants to a number of recipients, including grantees and investors, but it also gave me experience in grant writing. My work with police at the Ford Foundation enabled me to point to 10 program bodies considered as important in development support. So, sometimes in 2013, while I was still at the Ford Foundation, I saw an advert. The Ghana newspaper placed by the ANC and the government calling for proposal from the Stafford universities to feed new courses in key STEM disciplines. It was a Sunday afternoon, and I just eating very great pamaya. It was one of those days. I read the advert over and remembered yes, program I can help to write a proposal on this program based on the experiences I obtained at Ford Foundation, type of grant that we can obtain. Interestingly, my friend and key advisor on developmental issues at that time, the late Mr. Charles Omonaide, former PRO of the University of Benin, called me the same time on phone that same day to draw my attention to the advert and requested that I should develop the proposal for the university. Not wanting to take chances based on previous experiences, I decided to call Professor Oshoji on phone to inform me of the advert. I told him that I considered that I had the experience and skills to write the proposal and that I needed his permission and support to write the proposal. Without much ado, he gave me the permission. He gave me the approval and told me firmly that he would support me throughout the process, and which he did from the very beginning till we got the grant. So let's give a round of applause, Professor. So, 7 was to promote regional transformation among universities, which was that addressed particular regional development challenges. The subjects of science, technology, engineering, mathematics, health sciences, and so on. And we focus on reproductive health. I don't want to bore you with what reproductive health is, but it's a parallel discourse. They came out of the conference that took place in Cairo in 1994, which kept a parent gift. To be the main doctrine that galvanizes development, that galvanizes women's health, social well-being, equalization of men and so on. So that was at that time we thought that we were in West Africa. At the time, West Africa was still characterized, and still characterized with the apostate of fertility, maternal mortality, and so on. All the 15 regions of West Africa, including Nigeria, are very low obstetrical relations, high population growth, and the situation is causing some economic burden for Nigeria had a high number of women diabetes challenges. It was 2007. We thought that we should integrate reproductive health into development by focusing on this aspect. So the proposal I submitted to the World Bank through the NUC investment was establishing the African Center of Excellence in Reproductive Health Education. The goal of the project was to build capacity within West African tertiary education system for implementing high quality training and apply research for reproductive health education and so on and so forth. So please, I'm not going to be able to read everything I want to give, but I'll very copy of the dissertation which I can find out the details. So these are the objectives of several sub-courses in reproductive health, public health economics, masters and PhDs on the regional laboratory. So we first submitted concept papers to the World Bank. Of nearly 260 concept papers, 46, including several, were invited to submit full proposals. And at the end, only 22 centers for the Republic of Benin, Okonofua, Cameroon, Ghana, Nigeria, Senegal, and Nigeria are approved for funding. And these are 10 in those regions. These are the standards. I don't want to go over them. Because of the Benin, as one of the Chancellor. These are the real areas, education, students, educational capacity, publications, and so on. Again, you find this detailed in my writing, which I encourage you to have a look at. Then, all of this under S1 were achieved. They were achieved. I don't want to do the details. They were achieved. And the details are there. And then, publications, they were achieved. All the milestones they gave to us, we were achieved. It was only a 4-year program. And by the end of the 10th, 4th year, we have achieved all the milestones. So that was S1. Then they went ahead, this S1 was very successful. They went ahead and did this, an S2, which was focused mainly in East Africa and South Africa. So I won't discard that because it doesn't relate to us, because it was really East and South Africa. So, S3, what it is the call for proposal in 2019, and they asked us for S3, which is the continuation of S1. And again, all the presses in the region were invited. And this was to improve the quality, quantity, and development of impact organization in federal universities through regional integration, meaning that we focus on the target of not only in Nigeria. So, SADC submitted a proposal which I coordinated, setting up initiative to European regional management. The goal was to succeed the group. These are the specific objectives. Telling set out relation to this parties, which is currently still going on. We are finishing next year. So, if we finish next year, there's a possibility of the launch in phase 4. Now, phase 3 has been very successful. And the setting up again, the details in the brochure you are not yet. Now, and our overall performance in that is 3, which is base impact. We are so wonderful that in 2023, because we defeated the world, they added more money to us. They took money from some centers and they added it to us. And this was the result, this was what led to it. In the meeting in Benin Republic, you could see the one that led to Nigeria. Sari was number 1 amongst all the 18 ACs in Nigeria. So for that reason, they added about $1 million to our grant to enable us to do more projects. So these are the objectives: students to the enrollment, master's and PhD courses, publications, building and equipping of extension to service, etc., and more revenue. So, international accreditation also is one of the items. We have gotten to the last stage. We are the only institution so far that have gotten to the semi-final stage. In fact, the Quality Assurance Agency has approved 5 out of 10 criteria. And we're just working in the next few months. Professor Osaron is here. Thank you very much. He's the presenter leader of that particular international accreditation process. And I can see so many of the other professors who worked with me on that. So these are some of what we did this morning. Yes, don't worry. Okay. These are what we did. You can see it. And if you go to Seri, if you have not been to Seri, just drive around. And if you have not entered, you have missed something. Please enter and see. Go and see. These are some of the visitations, simulation lab. And we've also provided university-wide support. Again, they are in the book. Several, please check. And some of those we supported are sitting down here, looking at me. Is it not true? And then space. We also had the opportunity to write another grant. Professor Dixon, Professor Dixon Oriaki and all that helped. And at the end, we got a grant for sustainable procurement and environmental social center, worth about $11 million for the university. And there are only 6 such centers. University of Benin being the South University that takes care of the Southern region. These are the objectives of SPECI. Again, written in that book. Don't fail to get it. And then, sorry, this is the SPECI building. I took this building a picture about a month ago. So it's much more advanced than this. High quality infrastructure, 15 new courses have been approved by Senate, resource and verification, and SPECI is actually a new addition to the many academic preeminence of the University of Benin. And in February, international process, ICT optimization, which will mean that everybody will have good ICT prototypes to be able to manage research, training, learning, and educational facilities, communication facilities submitted. And we are across the first stage. Yesterday, I asked them, what is happening? When are we going to get the result of this proposal? They told me I should just hold on. So I'm hoping that we'll get this as well. So let me conclude by saying things. Again, I wrote them in details. What are the reasons for my fundraising success? One is the faith of God, my DNA, the work I do. I wake up at 12 midnight to work. People know that, and I work throughout the day. And I work, continue working. Even people like in Sikome, they will still be sleeping when I'm working. Adherence to the advice from my parents who said I must work hard. Starting this thing early when I was still young. The training I received in Harvard. My experiences at the Ford Foundation. The effects of work has done. Support from the Vice Chancellors. Professor Oshodi, Professor Rosaye, Professor Ruonse, Professor Lilian Salami. I thank you very much, sir. Focus on transparency. Every time I deliver a project, transparency, effective program delivery, accountability, value for money, and anti-corruption. So if you like, go and check. And check what we have done. Whether we stole any money, you will not find any evidence. And EFCC has not written to us at any point in time. And I must thank all staff and students. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You've been very supportive. And indeed, my supportive family here today. Thank you very much. Now, I summarize some of my efforts. Again, you see. Now, I'll start with my recommendations and finish in the next 5 minutes. The importance of fundraising for research programs universities. The current funding of the 91 public universities in Nigeria is the responsibility of federal and state governments. Available evidence indicates that only about 30% of the actual funding requirements of these universities are met by the governments. Therefore, there is considerable underfunding of public universities to the extent that very limited resources are available for research. It is conceivable that even if the government were to give 25% as recommended by UNESCO, the funding deficit will still remain. So on that note, I strongly recommend that staff and students of universities should begin to identify ways to raise funds. And one of the things we should be training our postgraduate students is the ability to write good proposals, through building capacity of staff to write and develop fundable research proposals, and implement them in ways, because it's not just enough to get money, but you must ensure that you implement it very well so that they will not run away from you. Therefore, I'm very happy that the University of Benin is beginning to do well, because now it has focused on writing grants, and we have a grants writing and resource mobilization committee. And this division must continue to work with the Chancellor so that we can find ways to build the confidence of donors in providing funds for the University of Benin. Asking is the trick to fundraising. Asking. The trick is not to be afraid or shy to ask for funds to implement university projects. You are doing it for the university, not for yourself. If you ask, you may or may not be given. Indeed, in my experience, if you ask, there's a 20 to 30% chance that you'll be given, depending on how you ask. How you ask is very important. And I wish I had time, I would have described some examples of somebody writing to me yesterday. He wants me to donate to something. And the way he wrote it, it was as if I must donate, whether I like it or not. I'll be taken to EFCC. But he didn't write it in a way that will make captured. Do not be disappointed if you are refused the first time. Continue to ask. One day you will surely get. You will never be given. Some people will see a request for grant, if you don't ask, you won't get it. You will remain unknown in your area of work because you are unknown. The second trick is to start asking for funds for work early in your career in university. Please, the earlier you start asking for better. This way you make mistakes in grant writing early, because soon learn how to write mistakes. As you grow older, you learn how to write proposals that attract funding. And you attract visibility, which is part of what some of us have attracted. So I have to acknowledge the people, but let me just say that in my book, I spent 20 pages acknowledging people. But there's no way I can say it. I think I have more pages because I read the review of this organization that gives some pages. And one of the things that impressed me in the book was when he said that whatever I still like is business. He said, nothing, look back, look forward, and I will know if I achieve something that is fantastic. And you know that 60 people, especially relationships, who helped him to achieve his life. I really appreciate them. Thank you very much. But that time, I'm teaching my room, so I didn't have time to learn like this. But the details of those who have in the university are presented in the writing. So if you don't hear anything, please don't worry. I expect you to learn all sessions of the university, from the beginners, from the students, everybody, drivers, they supported me in their aspects. They were so good. They were so good. May God bless you. I thank the university community for support, the encouragement, your advice you gave from time to time, and the recommendations you gave. I thank you all and pray that the good Lord will support you in all your life endeavors. So let me appreciate some of those. Today I said I will only the Christians. It was on age. The Vice Chancellor who transferred me from OAU to introduced me to various administrative systems through which I learned new knowledge. Thank you very much. Professor A.C. Wanzi for his support when I served as Provost College of Medical Sciences. Thank you very much. Professor Osayuki Oshodi, the Solar Secretary, who provided profound support that led to SERI. God bless him. Because if he said no, SERI would not have been established. And it was very easy for people to say no then because of political exigencies. But he said yes, and it's where we are today. Professor Faraday Owanse, my friend and football mate and playmate in the secondary school. Who provided support, always smiling, that led to the establishment of SPECI. It was under him that Professor Iraqi was the go-between and himself that led to the development of SPECI. Thank you very much. Our current vice chancellor, I particularly appreciate our current vice chancellor, Professor Lilian Salami. And our total administration, DVC, is extremely wonderful. The provost, my dean, always smiling. The bossa, wonderful. The librarian, the deans, HODs, and others. I thank you all for your total support. May God continue to bless you. In Professor Lilian Salami, ladies and gentlemen, I have found a true and reliable friend, a junior sister, a junior sister, a junior sister. A soulmate, because when I see what he does, I tell myself, if I was visiting, this was all. She's my soulmate. Someone for whom I have the most profound in the life of I salute her, thank her for the open and transparent manner which she has dealt with me for the entire presentation. Thank you very much. The World Bank that provided money, the Association of African Universities, National Support. I would like to particularly appreciate the past years of the National University. Professor Williams Okeje started the SERI project, Professor Rashid Abubakar, and the current years, Prince Mayaki. The staff of NUC. I think they are one of them here. Jibril, are you here today? Jibril, yes, thank you very much. I particularly appreciate the support of the media manager of the World Bank project at NUC. Dr. Joshua, who has played multiple roles. A young man with extreme wisdom, the support and the Spatial Program Association have helped to support this program. The MacArthur Foundation, the Ford Foundation, French Development Agency, the World Health Organization, the Royal College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, Harvard University Takemi Program, International Development Research Center, other organizations that have supported me and SERI and the university over time. Now, the staff of SERI, I appreciate you all. I appreciate all the staff, wonderful staff of SERI and SPECI. I'd like to particularly appreciate Ms. Vivian Ono for her hard work. Where's Vivian? Yes. A woman of profound energy and high-level intelligence. Just give her a task and it's done. Her managerial skills account for a substantial part of the success of my fundraising efforts. Thanks that now. One of multiple parts. I often wonder whether she has 5 hands. Some behind and some doing good things in God. And I've greatly effort. And I have a problem and say, Susan, that day I was to go travel, I was told that I said, Vivian, and then my family, led by my wife. Anyway, anybody why I'm following about this is the I'm saying so. She has provided considerable social amenities. And before I knew her, I wanted to I knew I wanted to. Most of my success came after I met her. Stand up. She manages me. She said, no, stand up, stand up. She is my manager, and I'll be saying that she's my secretary. Yes, she's my secretary. She keeps all my records. If I ask a record of 1950, she will get it from me. She is my PRO. Sorry, apologies to you, sir. She trained me on how to use computer. Today, if I have problem with computer, she's fixing it for me. She is my attendant, my advisor, my doctor. She keeps all my medicines. And I see now she's talking to people and telling them, give me what I do this. She's the only one. And my love and partner for eternity. I appreciate her for giving me the ambulance, and I thank her. I wake up at 12. I go to Jamaica, I go to England, I go to America, I come back, doing everything. And I thank her and the two lovely children, best. This is and then
Put your hands together. Please sit. This could not have been otherwise. May I now respectfully invite to wrap up the lecture to make her remarks, the chairman of this session, Double Chief Professor Lillian Mwetinya Samani.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we've listened to that wonderful, wonderful account. I was looking for Professor Anao. I didn't know he didn't join the so he decided to come. Bless you, sir. Thank you for coming. I don't think we need to talk too much or say too much after the lecture. One thing I must tell you, it is never greener sometimes when you think it's greener. My vice chancellors will tell you the same thing. My predecessors, vice chancellor emeritus, and all the same thing. To run an institution, a university, you have to have 20 hands, 10 hats to be able to win the storm, especially when it comes to funding. Sometimes people sit on the other side and say, she's Acknowledgments. You all know what Acknowledgments means. She doesn't release money. And I say to them, where do you want me to get this money? But nobody believes. And I'm sure it's the same thing. Even the CMD, I'm sure, will tell you the same thing too. Let me quickly give you some small statistics so that it's not that one is just talking. Just to tell you and emphasize the fact that we must look beyond our principle. Today, if we get electricity bill, it's probably going to be 300 million for this month. I'm not saying for the year, for this month, because we were paying 69 naira, and now we've gone to 225. And let me also shock you that what you get from your principal, what we got from our principal is about 283 for the year. And so It is not easy. If you don't go out asking, then of course your university will go underground. We call ourselves, my team, executive beggars. That's what we have named ourselves. Because you have to continue to go from one office, from one agency, and thank God we have wonderful, wonderful alumni group. As soon as I came, they were the first. I said to them, we made you who you are. The ministers and all of that, you must come back. And they have really been wonderful. I also disturb the governor almost on a daily basis. If I see one thing, I call him, and he has been responding. So what I'm just trying to say is, this lecture couldn't have been delivered, at a better time than now, except that, of course, I am at the departure lounge. And so I hope that these documents will be available to my successor, and I can quickly say that now. I'm sure Professor Okonofua is wondering whether I'm already here to leave. I have 7 months and 2 days. So we must begin to look beyond, because government cannot do it alone. And so we must begin to look at the industries, the private sector to help us. And I think what I admire about him is you can fail and fail and fail, but pick yourself up, because the day you pick yourself up might just be the lucky day. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for attending.
Vice Chancellor, Madam Vice Chancellor will now present the plaque to the lecturer. We invite Madam, yes, Mrs. Pat Okonofua, the children, immediate family members. Please join him for photograph as he's presented with the plaque. I understand that some professional colleagues also have some presentations. Please step forward now and do that as we welcome very specially some of our invitees, starting with family members. Mrs. Pat Okonofua, we welcome you very much. We welcome the children, Felix Okonofua, Ehinome Okonofua, Philo Okonofua, Goodness Okonofua, Best Okonofua, Nene Okonofua, Prof's sisters, Doris Ojeme Okonofua, we welcome you. We welcome Stella Egbhodaghe, we welcome Tahila Okonofua. We also welcome his brothers-in-law, Eramosele Ohudu. We welcome Reverend Vincent Udi and wife. We welcome all Okonofua Ojeme family. We also welcome very specially the Vice Chancellor, University of Medical Sciences, Ondo State, Professor Adeshegun Fatusi. Please put your hands together. Thank you, Prof, for coming. We welcome the Chairman, Edo Nips, General Leader Daikmome, retired. Please put your hands together. Please put your hands together for CMD UBTA, Professor Darlington Obaseki and Dr. Mrs. Obaseki. We thank you for coming. Join me also to welcome a former Vice Chancellor of the University, Professor Andrew Onokereraye. Welcome, sir. We welcome the former Vice Chancellor, again of UNIBEN, Professor Faraday Orumesi. We welcome another former Vice Chancellor of the University, Professor and Mrs. Abulime Anao. Welcome, sir. We welcome Professor Emeritus Tioke Audu and Mrs. Tioke Audu. We welcome you, ma. We welcome Professor Emeritus Raymond Eliho. Welcome, sir. We welcome Professor Bamidele Sani. We welcome the former Provost of the University, Professor Bishop Vincent Yahweh. Put your hands together as we welcome immediate past librarian, Professor Luke Obasuyi. Welcome, sir. We welcome immediate past bursar, Dr. Victor Imagbe. We welcome a former CMD of the Psychiatric Hospital, Dr. Ruben Osahon. Welcome you, sir. And we welcome his dear wife and former Deputy Vice Chancellor Administration, Professor Adesuwa Osahon. Join me to welcome Professor Mrs. Maureen Ebonwoyi, former DVC Administration and Member Governing Council. We welcome the National President, Medical Women Association from Port Harcourt, Professor. Please, all former Vice Chancellors, join Madam Vice Chancellor and the lecturer on stage for photograph, please. All former Vice Chancellors of the University of Benin. Professor Fatusi, please join them also. Thank you, sir. All former Vice Chancellors, Professor Fatusi, join them. We welcome very specially, as I said, the National President, Medical Women Association, Professor Rosemary Ogu. She has come all the way from the University of Port Harcourt. Please put your hands together for her and the entire team from Port Harcourt. We welcome Dr. Ehira Enabudoso, Chairman of the Medical and Dental Consultants Association, MedCan UBTH. Welcome Professor Ifweo Osad Osanoyi, Director Academic Planning. We welcome Dr. Wilson Imogan. We welcome members of MedCan here present. We welcome Venerable Professor Mon Wadiani. We also welcome retired Chief Superintendent of Police, Janet Ibinadolo. We welcome Professor Andrew and Professor Mrs. Esther Ugu. We welcome the retired Registrar Niepa, Ondo State, Dr. Mrs. Esho. We welcome Professor Egbhodaghe. We welcome you, Ma. We welcome Elder Mrs. Dora Edo Osagi. Also on the list, we welcome very specially the Acting Director, Alumni Relations, Obeki. We welcome former Commissioner of Health, Edo State, Professor Moses Momo. Welcome, sir. We welcome Professor Mike Egbhodaghe, the University Orator. We appreciate all robed mentees and colleagues of Prof. We appreciate all the beautiful people and academics from the University of Medical Sciences, where Professor Okonofua was Vice Chancellor. We also welcome all of you from the University of Port Harcourt. Wonderful, wonderful scholars. All friends, all well-wishers of the lecturer, all friends, all well-wishers of the University of Benin, we thank you all for coming. Please listen. Refreshment packs are being served and still being served to those present. However, we have access cards for some persons who will move from here to the second part of the lecture. The second part of the lecture. So if you have your access card, you will move to what is written on your access card. Otherwise, you will be served refreshment here. Madam Vice Chancellor, other principal officers of the university, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, that is how we conclude the 12th valedictory lecture of the University of Benin. First, and the second stanza of the national. If you have an access card with you, you move to the venue that is indicated on the card. Uniben Anthem. Please remain standing for the Vice Chancellor's procession to leave the arena.